guys, really, we need to help our guys.
Yeah.
We need to help our young men, because what I find out is that people are raising girls a certain way. Like you said, I remember growing up. In fact, did you say you guys had chores of cooking and then the guys would clean? In my house, the girls would clean and cook. The boys were just superstars. I had two brothers. They were the superstars in the house. And
no surprise there.
And I remember, one day my mom said I should go and mop my brother's room, and I was like, no, I'm not mopping it. And she was like, well, I was like, I'm not mopping. You can mop his room, and that shapes my belief system. I will never tell my daughter to go and clean her brother's room or wash her brother's plates. Everybody, tidy after yourself, clean your room, take care of yourself, learn how to cook. The best cook in my house now among my children is my second son, so, and I'm happy with that. I'm trying to make sure that everybody in the house learns how to cook. My youngest son too is coming up. The guy is always happy to help me in the kitchen.
I love it.
So, as sometimes we need to be intentional about as parents.
Absolutely.
Is as we're doing, we're not just saying, okay, Ada, come on. You also have to call the guy as well, your son, and make sure that he's learning, because he's going to end up being somebody's partner, and he'll be able to also help in the home. Another thing I want to talk about is, you mentioned how early motherhood, you were working as an OAP, doing great things, and then motherhood came, and you had to make it at a point that, okay, you know what, at this moment I have to drop this and face my children. How was that for you, and what lessons did you draw from that? How can you help other people who are going through that phase where they have to make some hard decisions? Yes.
So it was very difficult, and I think a lot of the difficulty came from two main places. The first place was because I really loved my job. I was fantastic at it.
Awesome.
I was so good at my job. So having to make that, and I really enjoyed it. It was something that I looked forward to every single day. But I also knew that I knew the kind of mother I wanted to be. I wanted to be hands-on. I wanted to be very involved. And like you probably already know, I'm paranoid about nannies and help. So it was a no-brainer at the time. It was a decision I had to make for myself. So even though I did that, I made that sacrifice for my child, I'm a human being who's ambitious. So it still hurts that I had to let go of that side of me. It was very, very, very hurtful for me, And the other side of the hurt came from judgment. The world had a lot to say. There was nothing I didn't hear. Oh, she married a rich man and now
she doesn't want to do anything.
Now she wants to become a housewife. I just knew it. So I'm like, so many things were being said, even from relatives. Like I had relatives, not my parents or my siblings, my immediate family,
understood,
even though they were like, oh, you're so good at this, but I just said, okay, no problem, but extended family,
so
there was a lot of this one. Every time I saw them, it was negative energy. Standard. They're always like, so you mean you let I don't understand, there was really no support from them. So I'm not going to lie to you, I started to keep my distance from those kinds of people, because postpartum depression is real, and I wasn't going through it per se, but if I continued to absorb that kind of energy, it would have taken me, somewhere I didn't want to be. So I had to just, stay away from them. I think that now led to me staying away from everybody, because I'm like, you know what?
Let me just stay on my own.
let me just stay by myself. Maybe when you stop seeing me, you stop talking about it, that kind of thing. So it was a struggle, but every time that I looked at my child, and I saw the progress that she was making, just counting milestones, were there for every moment, everything. It was worth it, And now I have my life back. I can literally do anything that I want. So I know I don't feel like I lost anything. I've always believed that life is in phases. Some phases are very high. You're excited. You're achieving so much. Then you have those down times where it looks like there's a roadblock and nothing is really working. God is working it out. God is, so long as you're close to God, he's involved. So he's there when you're down the valley, up the mountain, down the valley, like that. So I always had faith in the fact that God never took his eyes off of me. So no matter where I'm at, I'm like, I'm supposed to be here.
This is where I'm supposed
to
be.
This is where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. We don't know what the future holds, but for now, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. So that's what I kept doing. Every stage, I'll do the best of my ability, And look at me now. If I tell people, they're like, are you serious? You're really not going out at one point?
It's not even you.
Yes. So now they find it difficult to wrap their heads around. But I was that person at some point.
So, guys, be kind. The things you say go a long way. And the truth is that don't feel bad or guilty if you have to take a career break or do some changes because of your family. It's so worth it. For me personally, I made a choice that I would do certain types of jobs. You know, my children were growing up. My oldest is now 18. I have a 17. I have a 15, and then I have an 8-year-old. You know, so he's coming up now, and you know, at the time I couldn't imagine doing certain things. I know my children had to be there, and I have no regrets. You know, I took those kind of things at that time. You know, and for some people they have to say, you know what, for now I need to just stop work altogether because I need to focus on the family, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad. Make what choice is best for you, and for your family. It's really important. It's not about the other person. Everybody is, you know, life is not a one size fits all life. And it's not a race.
Exactly.
You know, that the race is not to the swift. It's who God shows mercy. Just ask God to show you mercy. Ask Him to guide you and do what's right for you and your family and for your mental space. And talking about faith, what role has faith played in your life, in your your life as a mom and in everything you do?
It's played, I think, the biggest role. If I'm being honest, I know it sounds very cliche because a lot of people are like, "Oh, God is in the center of my world," you know. But yes, it has, and that's, you know, I think that's thanks to my mother, because I think we all have the same story. Our mothers are the ones who made sure we knew Jesus, and we knew we were always in church and involved and praying. And I'll be honest in saying that growing up, it wasn't like the easiest thing to do, praying endlessly. My mommy now, chill, like, even Jesus might be tired. Let's give him a break, you know. But she made sure. You know, she made sure. And I believe in something. I saw a write-up somewhere that says, it's better to give children rules to break than to give them no rules at all. You know, so so for me, in translating it into what my mommy did for us, it was better that she was raising us in prayer and knowing God than, and for us to grow up and make our own decisions than not to do it at all. So now, even when sometimes you feel yourself slacking in your faith where you're not praying as much, you always come back. Do you understand? You remember. And I personally have had a very unique relationship with God. You know, I'm not the biggest prayer warrior. Like, I don't, start praying, but I always feel His presence. You know, I was that person that my friends would tell, Chika, please help me pray. I beg, you know, God likes to answer your prayers. Please help me ask Him for. I'm like, look at this one. Like, I go and pray, but I'll help you, but she'll still ask you by yourself. You know? So I was that person. My friends would come and say, pray for me, I beg, help me. You know, and sometimes I used to say it as a joke, but it really was working for me, because sometimes I don't even have to go on my knees and be screaming prayers. It would just be something as simple as me looking out my window on a sunny day, and then I'll be like, you're too much. I'll just tell him, gas him up small, you're too much. And I'll have a fantastic day.
Awesome.
You know, so I've always had that relationship with God, and I think it makes my life easy, like I said before, in the sense that no matter what I'm going through, and I still tell that to my baby sisters when they're going through stuff and they're talking to me. I'm like, after all this advice I've given you, you have to pray. What prayer does for you is that, because we love and believe that God wants the best for us, if things are not working out the way you want it, you know God has your back in it.
Yes.
You know that. Yes. So once you take comfort in the fact that, God, if this is what you want for me, no wahala,
it'll be fine.
Do you understand? But if you're doing it by yourself, frustration will set in.
True.
Because when things are not working out, you continue to want and want and want, but God knows that's not what's for you. But because you don't communicate with God, you will not see it that way, so you'll be frustrated. So that's how I've always lived my life. So even when I'm down, I know it's not going to last. I know whatever I'm going through, God is at the center, because I carry Him along on my journey. So it's very important. I might not be the most religious person in the world, but I have a very deep and unique relationship with God. I don't play with it. Even now, my children, we have those conversations where I also get them to understand that God, even though He's mighty, and I want you to see Him as your person, like that's your friend. You guys can talk, you know. So my daughter will come and be giving me her tiny testimonies, you know. She'll come, Mommy, you know, it was going to rain, and I'm praying that it will rain, and it's not raining. The sun is now out. God heard me. I was like, yes, you see, He heard you. And you know, sometimes you ask for things from God, and it doesn't happen. But I asked God, and He didn't do it. I'm like, you know, God, because He already can see what is going to happen after now. He's probably going to see that it's not. It might make you happy in the moment, but long term, it might not be very good for you. So He's protecting you. When He does answer, He already knows that thing is not very good. Don't worry about it. She'll be like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, now. Don't worry. God, He doesn't play with you.
Learning about God from just those
so it's like
things,
little interactions, you know. So don't make it scary for them. So, you know, we go through Bible stories and relate it to everyday life. You know, they'll do something like that. You want to be like Jonah. I'm telling you to go and do something. She's like, hey, please, do big fish, come on. You know, so just always, that's how I do it. I make sure, yes, I make sure that our conversations about God are not daunting for them.
Yes.
You know, it's relatable.
It's relatable.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that makes it, you know, it makes God come alive to them, not make it seem like one.
Absolutely.
Sure. I remember, you know, just speaking to someone who she doesn't believe in God anymore. She said, growing up, it was as if God was just like punishment, then, and she was like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want, and you know, it was motherhood. And she's like, that's not what I want. I said, no, that's not what God is.
Exactly.
It was just the way it was
Exactly.
it was portrayed to you, and you know, I apologize that that's what happened. But well, that God is love. God is fun. God loves you the way you are. God doesn't judge us. And, you know, and I think we all need to learn to be kinder to ourselves and see ourselves the way God even sees us.
Yes.
Because He's absolutely crazy about each and every one of us, and He loves us all, and we need to see ourselves in that image. So that's, you know, that's talking about God and His role, which is such a great role in each and every one of our lives. So talking still about motherhood, you know, because you spoke about how even when you teach them about God, you use stories and relatable things. Teaching them about how to do things. You mentioned chores as well, how because they see you doing those things, they do them automatically. How are you able to teach them from the way you act yourself? Because I'm very big on modeling as an individual. I tell parents, you not do as I say really anymore, it's do as I do. And you know, children imitate us a lot. They see what you do. That's why one of the easiest games for children to play is mommy and daddy and all that, and pretend family games. How has being a mother made you, in a way, as in think, has it made you more conscious? I think that's my question. Has that made you more conscious of how you behave, knowing that your children are watching you and they're learning from you every day?
I would say a very big yes. And the first example would be me snapping out of that phase that I've spoken so much about, where I was, you know, in this dark place and I didn't want to interact with anybody. It literally took me looking at my daughter one day and saying, listen, this girl is growing, you know. I want to be a mother she will be proud of. I don't want to be a mother where she's looking at somebody else's mother and wishing. We have those things. Yes, it's a real thing. You know, you might love your mom, but you wish, God, that other ambitious woman, I wish
my mom was like that.
I wish my mommy was like that. You know, that kind of thing. I didn't want my children to ever feel like I was inadequate in any way. I wanted them to be proud of me. And I'm like, this person that is always here wallowing,
feeling sorry for herself.
I don't think I would be proud of that person if I was a child. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that to my kids. I'm going to become somebody that they're going to be very proud of, you know. So it just took that, and it was like a finger snap situation. And that was it. I just said, you know what, this new body, I did not kill anybody. I only just added weight. People will take it like that. Let's move. I started shopping.
And Chika is like, as in, she is too fabulous. You need to see how much she's dressed up. As in, my goodness, you want to have all the curves and everything that she has. Because she always looks so gorgeous.
God, you make me want to be plus size. I'm like, wait, let me finish dressing up. Then we'll have the conversation. Because I'm like, I didn't shop for a very long time, you know. I was hoping to lose weight to start wearing my old clothes. I was like, no, if I shop, it's going to make me relax. I will not be. But now, you know, it was just a cycle of like bad behavior from myself to myself. I'm like, no, I snapped out of it. I went shopping, ordered new clothes, started dressing up. I'm like, people will collect it too. Refreshed my makeup this day, and that was it. I literally just snapped out of it because I wanted my children to be proud of me. Now, even now, I'm still very conscious, and they're old enough now to even call you out. So you make these rules.
I love it.
Yeah. So you make these rules, and then you're not following the rules. They're like, no, but you said we shouldn't, but now you just did it. I'm like, whoa, somebody cannot make small mistake.
I can relate. I say, Mommy, I thought we're not allowed to. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm like, you guys, chill. So what makes me very happy now is that, you know, now my son has become a fashionista. I'm like, hey, I'm in trouble. Like, he's constantly picking out his clothes. I think this belt, and when he's picking out stuff, you're looking at it and he's looking good.
I've seen your husband. Both of you are sharp people.
Hey.
So the apple doesn't fall apart from the tree.
Oh my God. I'm like, hey, I'm like, even now that I dressed up, I love your jacket, mommy. I was like, okay. When I now put this hair thing, he was like, I like the bow, you know. So he's busy gassing me up, you know. So they see me do these things and they like it and they're proud of it, and they're
awesome.
imitating that, because now they like to dress
So,
up, they like to,
they like to
even
look
when
good, yeah.
exactly. So they see me shooting my content that I do, and funny, every time that I shoot the content, I explain to them, because they're always, attacking me. Well, I want to talk to you now. You're busy shooting content every time. Instagram content. I was like, no, Mama, understand that I'm on a timeline. Sometimes they're paid content. You
So I
have to do something for the brands. They're waiting. There's a timeline. It's like submitting your homework. Like if you open your Google Classroom, you see that this one is due on a certain day. So it's the same for me. I have to submit. That's why I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to meet my deadline. Then we can chat.
So that's a teachable
Yes.
moment. They're learning that, look, you have to respect the dignity in labor,
Exactly.
and when you have tasks, you have to do them.
You have to do them, So I told them, so people have paid me for this. I'm not going to just ignore them. I have to do it, and then we'll come back to what we're doing. So even yesterday, I was shooting my content. What if you see the pancakes I posted this morning? My daughter there was part of it she recorded for me.
It.
I was telling her, hold it like this, do like that. When she finished, she was like, hey, I could not even breathe. I was so tense. I was so tense. Oh my goodness, this is so tense.
And I love that. I love
so
that.
when I finish editing, I always show them, like, come and see, is this good? You guys like it? They're like, yes, it's really nice. Then of recent, what she's constantly saying to me now, I know Mommy is going to become a celebrity very soon. I know it. I know you're going to become very famous very soon. I said, please, famous with money. Don't come and be having fame. I'll not be suffering. I'll just have fame.
But the bills have to follow. The bills, everything has to add up.
So I see them working hard, and watching me work hard, and seeing that they're proud of me, and it's the best feeling in the world. So yes, I know it's easy. Like for mothers who might be watching this, it's not always easy to be the good example. Sometimes you're so overwhelmed. The last thing in your mind is setting a good example. All you want to do is to talk and shout. But Choma said something. These children they are watching, and do. They're not listening. Everything you're saying is entering this ear and coming out from here. They want to see how you're behaving. So they're watching you. True. Even now in our old age, Choma, there are things that I do. I'm like, hey, that was so mommy. I just behaved like my mother just now. Do you understand? I can't remember her teaching me to do that.
But you just
do it because that's how your mommy would do it.
That's what she did.
Do you understand? Even mannerisms from my dad, I'll say something. Hey, that sounds like my dad.
So we're seeing ourselves become our parents. So we still ask ourselves, who we are. Do we want our children
to be this person?
Yeah.
I think that's the answer lies in there.
That's that. So yeah, definitely. So that's good. And what I always tell people is that there's this poem I read once, and it said the father of the adult is the child, or something like that. And it was just saying how your childhood shapes who you are as an adult. The things you heard from your parents, the things you saw them do.
Yeah.
Even a lot of things you do in your home now, some of them you find out that they're things that you did when you were a child. Like in my house, so tomorrow, pancakes are for Saturday, because growing up we did pancakes in my house. We did pancakes or moi moi, so it's become something that we do. So you ask yourself, the things I'm doing now, would I want my child to inculcate some of those things? Yes, they're going to merge with somebody else and have a new family structure, but they'll take some things from you as well. So you need to be deliberate and intentional about the things we're doing, and the fact that our children are watching us, and they're going to copy. In fact, I remember this joke about someone who said like he saw his child doing something. I was like, oh my god, he had to rewind how he was at that age. It was like, oh my god, I'm in trouble, because he had been a terrorist his whole life. I was like, oh my god, let this boy not be like me.
I have those moments too. My mother, I'll call my mother and say, Adeze did something now, mommy. Like, can you imagine? I said this to her. She's like, well, that was you. That was you. Like, you did the exact same thing to me.
As 100%.
Oh my goodness.
So that's so interesting that they're becoming like us in so many ways. So we need to look at ourselves and think, the man in the mirror, do I really want my son or my daughter to grow up and be like me, or take some things from me? Would I be proud? Do I want that, would they be proud of me?
Yeah.
And I think it's something that we need to have at the back of our mind, is that once you have children, there's no more solo life. They are watching you, and even when they leave the home, I was talking to one of my older mom friends. She was like, even in adulthood, you're not a parenting consultant. Yes, you're not an active parent, but I'm sure your mom still calls you to say, Chika, what's going on? And I'm sure you still call to say, Mom, and she's still praying for you, and she's still advising you, when necessary. So the role never really ends, does it? That job. So. What words, as we come to an end of we've had a fun discussion, we've had so much fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to Chika, and as we've had this conversation, what words of advice do you have for young moms who are starting out, their children are growing, thinking of where you started out, now you have an almost 8-year-old, And what word do you have to just to encourage them, especially during the early years where it can be a bit frantic and hectic?
Okay. First of all, find what works for you. Try as much as possible to shut down judgment. Shut down too many opinions, even those that are coming to you in love, quote and unquote. If what they are bringing to you is not working for your family, your lifestyle, just keep it aside. Don't feel the pressure to take on more than you can handle. You understand? It's going to be hard. Let nobody lie to you. All those advice of sleep when baby's sleeping, it's not.
Those
It's
always
not.
work.
It's not.
Because you have stuff to do.
You have things to do. So it's going to get overwhelming. But learn to take it one day at a time. Seek support where you can. Like if you have people that are willing to come and help you do stuff, by all means,
Accept the help.
accept that help. Okay? By all means, accept the help. So for me, even though I didn't have a nanny, I still had people that were helping me in the form of my sisters. When I need them, they show up. I couldn't have done it without any help. Jen, I don't think that's even possible. So where you don't have a nanny, find somebody that can step in when you need them to, when you need to take a break. Don't be too hard on yourself. I keep saying that. A lot of things are going to change about your life. You will now have somebody who is looking at you like that every need you have to cater to. It's going to seem intense, but one day at a time. Just finish today's task before you face tomorrow's one. Don't think too far ahead because it gets overwhelming. I know it did for me. Don't think too far ahead and have a clear-cut vision of the kind of mother that you want to be. It's very, very important. Start early. Start early. Don't leave room for regret, because there's so many things that after a while, like, I wish I did this way, I wish I did that. Even with something as, it's not even minor, like what your baby is eating and things like that. Don't take any aspect of their life for granted. Make sure that you're doing your best, but at the same time, don't overdo. It's very important, Choma, because that overwhelmed feeling is what I think leads a lot of people to that depression, when you're feeling very overwhelmed. So don't try to do more than you can. Shut down excess noise. Ask for help when you can. Don't forget to communicate with God. The world will not end if you don't do laundry on the same day that you wanted to do it. Like, learn to let stuff be. Sometimes just take a breather. Just leave it alone. Everything will fall into place. Your babies will grow. It will get easier. It will get easier. It will, definitely. So always remember that. Have that at the back of your mind. And know that at every point, so long as you're doing your best, you are being the best mom your child needs at every turn.
I love it. You're being the best mom your child needs at every time. Remember, there's no perfection in parenting.
None.
It's just you being the best you can be at every point in time. I really love that, Chika. Try and be organized, like she said. Try and have structure. It helped me when I was with my children in the UK. It helps me even now. It helps me. It's very good. Very important. So structure is important, but at the same time, sometimes give yourself some slack. Even if everything is not as perfect and you miss one thing of the timetable, it's not the end of the world. Chika, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all you do. And moms, please don't think, because I need to stop that job. You can reinvent yourself. Chika is doing amazing stuff online and everywhere. Just watch her, and as in, she gives me joy. Just seeing all the stuff she's up to. And so don't, children are a blessing from God.
Absolutely.
And the gifts of God make it rich. They don't add sorrow. Okay? So if there's sorrow, in there, you need to do a check, reevaluate and say, okay, there's something wrong. I need to change something in this formula, because children are really gifts from God. Thank you so much, Chika.
Thank you for having me. I had such a beautiful time.
Oh yeah, I'm really glad to have you. And please don't forget to follow Chika and see all she's doing, all she's up to. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. You have all the info. Anybody else you want to see, just keep glued. I'll have so many amazing guests coming. And I'll have so many things to share on how we can do all we need to do as parents, and also live our dreams, fulfill our passions and desires. We got this, don't worry. God got us too. Take care. See you later.